countdown. I
Here
think
we are
now.
I think we're live. Good morning.
Hey, everybody. How are you this Wednesday morning? Mary and I were just talking. You said you got out and ran outside this morning.
I did, and it was such a unusual experience. I do like to run, but in the winter, you know, it kind of goes on the back burner. So I focus on some different modes of exercise. And I said to Chris, I'm going to go get a short run in today because a friend of mine said, I would really like it if you would run a run with me in March.
Okay.
A 5K.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, okay. I hadn't really planned on it. And so it's like, oh, wake up call. I guess maybe I better get out and try a run. And so I go out and I run this morning, and my muscles are strong enough. I know my body's strong enough. The air's perfect. I'm dressed just fine. I'm listening to the sounds of Mother Nature. And then all of a sudden, my legs go, what? What is this?
What are you doing?
What are we doing here?
Well, I was supposed to run this morning, but I remember my alarm going off at 4:30, and I remember rolling over and turning it off. Right. And the next thing I knew, it was 6:15 in the morning, and I slept right through the run. So I was so mad at myself. But, you know, sometimes that happens.
Sometimes that does happen.
When you're trying to live a healthy lifestyle. And so
good morning. Good morning and welcome to Healthy You.
Yeah.
Because Kim and I, she invited me to come on the show today with her, and we're just going to have a nice conversation, right?
Yeah. So, Mary, the reason why I wanted you to join me today, and I know this happens to you a lot too because we've talked about this before, is we get asked often, what do you do? Mm-hmm. You know, how do you stay healthy? You know, it seems easy for you. What are things that you do? I get asked that several times a week.
Do too, yeah.
And I know that you do as well as a coach. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, what a great way to just say, here are some everyday, ordinary things that you can do to be a little bit healthier, that are simple things that you may not even think about. So we want you to keep watching because we're going to share some of the things that we do. But first, we want to know that you're watching. So could you please, I know a lot of people say, oh, I watched your show. I said, well, then how come you didn't give us a little heart or a comment or something to let us know that you are watching? That is a great way for us to see who's watching the show and to thank you for that and let others know that you're watching by sharing. We want to get this information out because it is our goal to share information that will help you make it a little bit easier to live a healthy lifestyle.
Well, and I think, Kim, anytime you and I are together, I think one of our key goals is to encourage others to find themselves, is to meet yourself where you are on that day. You know, I talk about that. I teach yoga, and that's one of the principles in yoga. Meet yourself on the mat. Wherever you come to the mat on that day, that's where you need to be. So as I was pondering overnight of like, okay, what are some of those things that occur in my life that are part of my health plan? And that's what it is for me. It's less about diet or exercise as singular. It's more, what are the components that create a health plan for your life? And so I think it's right to ask other people what they do. And so I love to get those questions. But keep in mind, when you get the answer, that's what fits my life. If there's a nugget in that I give you an idea that you want to insert into your life, then that's awesome. But each of us are responsible to create that health plan for ourselves.
That's specific to you.
That is very specific to you.
You take lots of ideas and you play around with it.
And I know that when we do our segment monthly, I reference this a lot of times, and I do this a lot on my Facebook page, Coreview Coach, or with my clients. Society doesn't want us to have our own plan.
Right.
The marketing of products and different styles of living, they want you to live a subscription type lifestyle. And so it takes a lot more work to develop your own health plan lifestyle. It really does. So one of the things that I do is I like to engage with other people, and I like to go to other events and learn. And so I'm glad you have the I've Decided sweatshirt on today.
I've Decided sweatshirt. Look at this. Hashtag Live Decided.
Live Decided.
I love it. I'm so excited.
So, you know, I went this last weekend to the I've Decided conference, and great job to the I've Decided team. It was just really, really wonderful. But I'm going to take away from that of what is the nugget that I took away specifically and has been continually on my rewind this week? Because no matter who you are and whatever your health plan is, you can enrich that plan by latching on to a nugget.
Yes.
So my nugget, actually I have several nuggets, but one of the nuggets I took away was Curly Boo Johnson's conversation, which I thought was very, very motivating and impactful. But the line is that success is where opportunity meets preparedness.
I know, that's mine too. I love that.
And I have to tell you, it gives me goosebumps to
Yes.
say it out loud to you guys, the viewer. I want you to write that down. Success is where opportunity meets preparedness. And, you know, I feel like in my world, I'm pretty prepared and I have opportunities, but when you start thinking, when those opportunities, because we all have them,
Sure.
when those opportunities that bring increased desire and fulfillment into your life, are you truly prepared to meet that opportunity?
That's right.
And so that was a huge takeaway. And
was
so
for me too.
I
I
went
think
into
that's awesome.
I went into this week just really charged, and as I ran today, it was like, okay, I'm out here. I had an opportunity to run. Am I prepared? And I acknowledged through my body that yes, I am prepared. And so then it made me even think a little bit more about what are those other non-food items that bring health to my plan, okay? So one of them is to set a cairn. Do you know what a cairn is?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Spell that.
Cairn, C-A-I-R-N, I believe.
Karen.
Check on
like
Webster's.
the name Karen, but Karen. Kind
Karen.
of like you're saying it with a southern.
Karen.
Like
No,
you're saying
you
Karen with a southern accent.
You should
Karen.
be able to say it without any problem. So a cairn is a marker. And
Okay.
so Indians, primitives before our time, they might have bent a tree down that this is the way to follow. Okay? A cairn when you're a hiker, and you know I'm a hiker and I love to
Yes.
be in the mountains, and sometimes you're not sure where the path is leading. Okay? And then you'll find a cairn, and it's like, oh, I'm to take this route to stay safe and stay on the trail. So today I brought a pile of rocks.
You did.
And I did.
And a pretty
And
flower
we'll talk
tree,
about
green thing.
the little bamboo green thing too.
the green thing.
So this is all about building a health plan, okay?
Yeah.
So first, to have a really good, healthy program, your body. Your body's your number one instrument, right? So we need to eat whole food, drink lots of water, exercise is a really important, all those things. So that's what this represents right there, all right?
Okay.
So that's my body. And so then, on the markers to life, relationships are really important. Well, I'm going to share an experience I had last night. I went out with a couple of ladies from Apple's Bakery I hadn't seen in a few months. We get together every now and again and really catch up with one another. And had a couple glasses of wine and ate some snack food that I don't normally eat. So I have a choice. I could get up this morning and say, oh, I ate food that was bad for me. Or wait a minute, the conversation and the relationship was such healthy food and fuel for my soul that those healthy relationships are another building block in my cairn to give me health.
Right.
Okay? So there's a little word shift. Don't get hung up on what you ate.
The bad part.
It's not a bad part. It's
Yeah.
not a bad part. You ate something that you don't normally eat. Don't assign a negative word to it. What really was the benefit of the occasion? And it was healthy, nurturing relationships. So I've now just built a little bit more in my health plan.
Yeah, and I just thought of something. Just like I overslept this morning
Right.
and didn't get my run, I think one of the things that you and I have in common when we make a mistake and we want to encourage you guys to do the same thing is not to get hung up on the mistake. Recognize, like today, I thought, well, I must have needed some sleep. You know, we just got through planning this conference. It's been crazy. This is like the third time in 4 years that I've ever fell back asleep and not got up because my buddies are counting on me to be there. So
Right.
I feel terrible when that happens. So I could have focused on, man, you're lazy. You should have got up. Look at you, let everybody down. So I could have looked at it that way, or I could have said, you know, I guess I needed that extra sleep so that my body could do what it needed to do. And you're saying the same thing. Maybe you ate some snacks last night
Right.
that you wouldn't normally eat, and you
Right.
could beat yourself up about that.
You could, and we do.
Or you can focus on the fact that you had healthy, fun relationships that was fuel for your soul.
And it brings a smile to my face just remembering the time spent with friends.
Yes.
And so your health plan, we require healthy relationships in it. So keep in mind that health is not just related to food.
And sometimes living a healthy lifestyle requires that you forgive yourself often
That's
when you make a mistake. And so I just thought I'd throw that in there because that is something I think that people, if you are going to be consistent in living a healthy lifestyle, you must forgive yourself for those mistakes.
Right. And you know, we can always use different words, whether it's mistake or it's a choice.
Yeah. Sometimes we choose to make them. It's like we're going to do it.
You know? So then we already had the other we talked about, and that's our exercise.
Yes.
Okay? So there's another building block in our health plan.
Right.
Okay? So then it's that career path and that professional path that I think is really important for good health. And you are a great example of a really healthy work life with all the ladies at Curves and all the enthusiasm. It's positive and it's motivating and your team is motivating. Not all people get to work in that kind of environment.
I know. And sometimes I don't recognize how fortunate I am.
Right.
Because it becomes a part of your life when you've been there for over 20 years and you just think everybody's work must be this awesome, but you realize that
So for those people that are working in an environment that is less than fulfilling, but you're getting a paycheck, you're taking care of your responsibilities financially, one, keep in mind, most of the time we don't have to stay in there. You're making a choice to stay in that environment, and that's fine. If it's meeting certain goals, sometimes you can't move, but really step back and remember your health and your livelihood, those are all choices that you make. So if you're in one of those less than fulfilling, what do you do to show up every day so that even though the work world around you is not perfect, what do you do to make it better? Yeah. And so what I recommend is a couple of things. One, exercise. I'm always going to go back to exercise, drink lots of water, eat lots of vegetables, because you got to come fueled. And the body has to be worked.
Specifically, when we say drink lots of water, a good marker is half your body weight in ounces.
And that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot of water. And if you just start doing it, your body's going to respond to that. And you're probably, for the first week or two, going to be running to the bathroom a little more often as your body kind of establishes that you're doing something new. But it will balance out. Just a little side note there.
And your body will say thank you. Your skin will say thank
yeah.
you, keeping in mind your skin is your biggest organ, right? And so if we aren't hydrating it, especially in the winter, we forget to drink more water in the winter because you're evaporating all the time. But the one thing that I would really encourage is to seek any kind of educational opportunity that you can when you're in a work world, whether you love it.
Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself because you are your most important asset. And you are the most important asset for others.
Right.
People are counting on you. So you have to take care of yourself.
And so that's what I did this last weekend.
Yes.
My husband joined me. We went to the I've Decided conference. And the other suggestion that I have for my life, being a business owner sometimes is lonely and sometimes business is great and sometimes business isn't so great. So even as that business owner, is to really do some compassion training and some meditation, some mindfulness work. And so to take that time, recenter yourself, view that everyone around you has the same obstacles and challenges, they just show up a little differently. And I think meditation is a great tool to use, especially in the workplace as well.
That is so good. Can we stop there for a second and chat? Because one of the things that I wanted to talk about is morning routines. Your morning sets your foundation for the day. And I think so many of us jump out of bed 20 minutes before we need to get going and get to work because we probably stayed up too late the night before, or we didn't prepare for our sleep and we didn't sleep well. We're going to talk a little bit about sleep. But I think that we jump up out of bed and we hit the day running, and we just didn't take that time to do what sets the foundation. Now, I know you and I are both runners.
Right.
So some mornings we run.
Mm-hmm.
You ran this morning, I slept in. But a lot of mornings we run. So on those days we kind of start with running. But some mornings we start, when I'm not running, those are mornings when I pray, read, and dream. And you do a meditation.
Yeah, I meditate every morning for at least 20 minutes.
Yes.
And I find I use the Insight Timer app. I don't know whether we've ever talked about that. There are a lot of great apps you can put on your phone. Headspace is a very, it's been around for a long time. I particularly like Insight Timer.
Okay.
It's outstanding. And it has resources of a variety of meditations that meet me where I need to be met that day. Right. So it might be for abundance, it might be for forgiveness, it might be for gratitude, it might be loving myself, because we're different every day. So some people can meditate without the guide. I actually like the guide. And I get up in the morning, have a cup of warm lemon water, and I go down to the basement and I turn on my meditation before I even really engage with Chris.
So you have that routine, and mine is not quite like that. It suits me. Mine entails quietness, my Bible. I read, and then I pray, and then I close my eyes, and I listen, and I dream. And, you know, the bottom line is, for you, it could be reading. For you, it could be listening to a meditation. It could just be sitting in quietness, having a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or warm lemon water. But the point is, if you're going to live a healthy lifestyle, it has to start in the morning.
I think there are bookends to it as well. So there's a morning hygiene.
Yes.
I refer to it as a morning hygiene routine and a sleep hygiene routine. So we just talked about a morning hygiene routine. We in our house will go, and then we go exercise, whether it's I run or Chris runs or we go to the gym and do weights, whatever the case may be. But we have a regular schedule. Then we have breakfast. And what's important about setting that morning hygiene routine is that there's consistency.
Yes.
And you're making yourself first.
Yes.
And that is not selfish.
No, that's giving yourself oxygen first.
That is giving you food and fuel to be the best self you possibly can be for the rest of the day. And so I encourage people, and it doesn't have to be a long period of time. It's just acknowledging that you have value, you love yourself, and you're getting prepared. Remember, success is where opportunity meets preparedness. And if we don't prepare ourselves for the day ahead, it doesn't matter what food we're going to put in our mouth.
Right. And if you're jumping out of bed, heading to work, that is one of the first steps that you can change in order to start living a healthy lifestyle. And that's kind of what the points I wanted to make today. We're so quick to say, I got to stop eating that food. I need to lose weight, so I can't eat that, right? When we think we need to lose weight, the first thing our mind goes to is food.
Right.
Every time. And I want to train people to say, no. Go to, you need to wake up a half hour early and do something great for yourself.
I'll tell you, I'll share with you as a coach, yes, you want to lose weight as a health coach, you can lose weight. Their diets, I mean, you can lose weight. It's a matter of, are you creating sustainable habits in your life? And that goes back to these pillars,
That's
okay?
right.
So we're going to go ahead.
Karens.
This Karen.
Say Karen with a southern accent.
So we're going to go ahead and put that as our work.
Yes,
our professional. And it doesn't mean that you're working a job of 8 to 4 or 9 to 5. We all have a block of time in our day that we choose. So if you're retired, there's still this traditional daytime. So think of that, again, your profession is to live within that particular area. And then real quickly, just to finish up on the sleep hygiene is equally important in our world, in Chris's and my world, from our pattern.
Yeah, so nighttime routines, let's just talk about that, because you said the bookend. We talked about the morning, let's talk about nighttime routines.
Because you're now preparing your body for rest, for fasting, and rejuvenation. So when you go into your sleep, you want your organs to be detoxing the body. You want that liver and those kidneys and the gallbladder and all that stuff doing what they need to do when you lay down and you rest. And so by having, a regular routine that you let go what happened during the day, that you're consistent. Turn off, don't keep your phone in the bedroom, please.
Or a TV.
Or a TV. You know, read something gentle and kind before you go to bed.
Right.
And then also say thank you. I say that word, those two words, I think they're the most generous words a person can use with frequency, not only to themselves, but just say thank you as you're brushing your teeth and you look at yourself in the mirror, because you just got to have another day.
Yeah,
You
right.
know,
I love that.
Those are just really simple things, but it's just talking to yourself in that kind and gentle way, and then go ahead and go to sleep. Maybe you're a meditator in the evening. Feel free. Maybe you like to have white noise in the background. That's great. But whatever it is, do it consistently. And when you start inserting these kind of patterns, if you want to lose weight, weight will come off.
Yes, because you're well, the thing about having that morning routine and the evening routine is it takes discipline. It doesn't take discipline to jump up out of the bed 15 minutes before you have to be at work. Because if you don't go to work, you're not going to get a paycheck, right? So you have to get up and you have to go to work. So it doesn't require you to have discipline, but it will require you to have discipline to set your alarm a half hour early and actually get up and do something great for yourself. At night, doesn't require discipline to jump in the bed at 11 o'clock and get some sleep, because by then you're exhausted and you know you have to get up the next morning and it's like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. But it does require discipline to say, okay, I'm going to wash my face. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to take the opportunity to say thank you. Spend some time just reminiscing about the day. That requires discipline.
I want to talk about washing our faces for a moment, because at the
That's
end,
important.
it is really important, and brushing our teeth is really important. Obviously,
You only have one set of teeth.
Yeah, and so at the end of the day, and I've done this with a couple of clients that I work with, is I'm going to challenge you. I want you to wash your face for a minute.
Yeah.
Because we don't realize at the end of the day, we just and off we go. No, I want you to slow down, and I really want you to count to 60. And wash your face. And I'll guarantee you, you're going to get to about, I'm just going to pick a number, 37, and say, I'm good, I'm out.
And brush your teeth for 5 seconds. Okay, good,
yep,
I'm good.
I'm good, I'm out. And so then it's like, no, but I really want you to work till 60, okay? Right. And the overwhelming response I've ever gotten from somebody is like, yeah, I did want to give up about halfway through, but you said go to 60. And it's like, I felt so relaxed, like I'd given myself a spa treatment. See, all of this health stuff that we always talk about, it's right here in the palm of your hands.
Yes.
It's really up to you to create your health plan for life. It's not health insurance. It's a health plan that hopefully has you limit your requirement of health insurance.
Yes.
Because then that drives your bottom line at home.
It reduces your stress. And these are things that don't have anything to do with what you're eating. And so that's what we have to stop doing. Eating is good. Food is not the enemy. We love food, right, Mary?
We love food.
We love food. We love food.
We really do love food.
And you should love food too. And it shouldn't be the first thing that you think to give up when you start realizing you need to lose some weight, because that out of control living, and let's just face it, when we all gain weight, when I gain weight, and I have gained weight over the holidays, and I'm working to get that off now.
I did as well.
And you said you did as well. That means we've been living pretty much out of control. We've been throwing our habits to the wayside.
We've been absent. We've not been present.
We have been living, just doing whatever we want whenever we want. And that is not a healthy lifestyle. And so the first thing that I start doing when I get back to saying, okay, Kim, you've been living like a hoodlum for too long. It's time to reel it back in. I start making sure I get up, I get my runs, I do my prayer, I have my morning routine, I start incorporating the water, I wash my face every night for at least a minute, I brush my teeth, I go to bed at the same time every night, I wake up. Those are the things that are going to lay the foundation for, oh, well, maybe I'm going to have a salad today instead of driving through a fast food, or, I'm going to prepare my meal. So you can't just jump right into that.
So the way you just described that leads me into the second nugget that I took away from the I've Decided conference, and I really want to share it with y'all. And if you didn't go to that conference, I'd really like you to book that time in January of 2019.
Well, we'll have a half-day conference that
day.
you can tag in and get on April 7th.
I'm sure you'll hear all about it at a point in time. But the second point, that really a nugget that has landed in my head, and it was said by a lady that I just really admire, and she's been on your show, and that's Dr. Leslie McKnight. She has a special gift of storytelling and engaging, and her seminar, her session at the conference was exquisite, okay? But in her I'll say, joyfulness of sharing and her energy of having the attendees of her session feel energy within themselves. And that's what I try to do as a yoga guide. What's going on the inside of your body? But she made a comment, and I'll put it in this context, is that each and every day we get to choose to give ourselves gifts. And a gift is a present, right?
Right.
And so her message was to really remind us that we have our gifts to live in the present each and every day.
I love that.
So this is the last marker on our cairn, and hopefully I can balance that on there. So there's a cairn.
How perfect is that?
So what I have these all around my house. So you asked of like, what practices do I have? When I travel, I find different rocks that just speak to me, because there's a permanence in it. It gives me that fortitude, the stability of a rock. I connect with nature big time.
Sure.
That's me. And so for me, that is truly a spiritual practice. And so as Dr. McKnight was reminding us in her session, we all have been given gifts at our birth, and they are intended to assist us to live in the present. Yeah. And so remember, a gift is a present, and that's what we get to do every second that we're here.
Be present. Love that.
A cairn is a marker, and I like to have them around my house to say, okay, what kind of guidance do I need today? Is one of those areas, are all these areas good, or did the cairn fall over and there's an area in that stack of building a health plan that needs a little bit more attention? And then I brought this little bamboo shoot because I'm not big, our house isn't great with plants. We don't have super light for them. And people say, I don't have time for plants. I have to say, in your work world or in your home, to have something green, and we now have succulents everywhere we go. I mean, you can get them in the grocery store, the hardware store, or plant store, wherever. To have a couple succulents in your house to remind you that there is something else living in your house besides yourself, that connectivity of growth, of color, that's part of my health plan. I'm a dog person, so I have my dog with me, and I've got a couple of big fish. But I think that those that are not pet people, I encourage you to go out and treat yourself to a succulent. They don't need a lot of care. But as a gentle reminder, we are never alone.
Yeah,
and so
good.
As we build our health plan, it's less about food. Food is vital. We have to have it to sustain.
Yeah.
Eat healthy, make wise choices, eliminate preservatives, all the things we talk about all the time. But today, I hope that the viewers get a glimpse of it takes more than food to build your life health plan. Yeah. And you and I are here to encourage anybody and everybody. Reach out to us. Send me an email. Visit my website, CoreviewCoach.com. Send Kim an email. Show us some love on Facebook.
Yeah, ask some questions. We can come back and answer those later if there was something you hoped we talk about. Oh, and which is a good point, too. We'd love to hear your feedback. Do you have any topics you'd like to hear Mary talking about?
Absolutely.
We'd love to get some feedback from that.
Absolutely.
I can't believe how fast a half hour goes by when I'm with you.
It just zooms.
It zooms by, and I had other things I wanted to talk about, but oh wow, that was awesome. I learned about Akhirin, and I always learn something new from you, Mary. It's so cool. All right, have a rest of a good Wednesday, and we'll be back next week. You'll be back on the second Wednesday in February. So this was a nice bonus.
It's nice. Thanks for having me.
It was great. Yeah, I want to do this again.
Okay.
So we'll have to remember that when we have some opportunities for bonus shows.
There you go.
I'm sure people will love it. It'll be great. So this is the time where I never know if we're still recording.
PeoriaLife.com.